Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Armin, the ceramics teacher at San Juan Hills. I am going to be talking you through the day one building process of our terracotta warrior. So we need kind of a handful of things today. The first thing is we're going to be rolling some slabs of clay. And so I like to either lay down newspaper or I've got this piece of cardboard because I need a placemat so that my clay doesn't stick to my surface when I'm rolling my slab. What we're going to focus on today is building the body and just getting the shape of the head. Looking at the body, this is hollow, right? So this is just a basic cylinder shape. It's nothing fancy. This is hollow. We're just going to roll a slab to make the body and have it be a cylinder. The whole beginning part of this project is going to be super similar to our textured tripod, right? It's a cylinder rolled up. That's the exact same way that we build the body here. So first thing you're going to need is some clay. When we're doing a cylinder, we want a big rectangle to start. So make sure you've got enough clay to make a good size rectangle. When I know that I want a rectangle, I like to start off with my clay kind of in a rectangular shape so that when I roll it, it's going to get to the shape that I need maybe a little bit quicker. Remember, we want it about finger thickness. We don't want it too thin, but also not too thick, similar to our textured tripod. So I'm going to take my rolling pin. I like to switch directions, kind of work my way around. And again, we're looking for a slab that's going to give us a nice big rectangle. So I'm going to take a straight edge and my needle tool and cut out a large size rectangle. Here we go. I'm going to get rid of my edges. And then now I've got that beautiful rectangular slab to work with. So now that I have it trimmed, we're going to roll it into a cylinder, just like we did this textured tripod. But first, if you recall, we have one step that we need to do where we need to shave down the edges and make them slanted so that they fit together, and that's where we're going to scratch and score. So if I was looking at my slab from the side profile, so let's say this is the right side of my slab, and if I'm looking at it, what I want it to look like is slanted like this. Right now, it has a corner, right, where that dotted line is. So I'm going to take my needle tool and I'm going to shave off that top corner so that it gets slanted. So let's check this out. We're just going to focus on the right side first. Here we go. I'm going to hold my needle tool on a corner, on an edge, angle, and I'm just going to drag it down the side of my slab and get it to be slanted. Right, so I'm just shaving off that top corner that we see here on the right side. On the left side, rather than have the top corner gone, I actually want the bottom corner removed. So I want it the same angle. So I'm going to be getting rid of this bottom corner. So when we see them side by side, right, when we see both of them drawn out here, it's kind of like a parallelogram, right? So I'm going to drag my needle tool the same angle that I did here. It's going to be the same angle on this left side. And then these slanted areas are where we're going to scratch and score and attach our clay. So I'm going to go to the left side, hold my needle tool at this same angle, and I'm going to drag it down the side, and the bottom, this bottom corner is going to be removed. I can start to pick it up very carefully. Kind of stuck to my cardboard. And we're going to roll it, stand it up, and roll it into that cylinder shape. I'm going to bend it until the two slanted pieces come together, right? That's where we want it to connect. I need to scratch and score and blend that seam before we move on to the next part. So I've got my slabs kind of standing up here very carefully. My clay is very plastic. It's super bendable. So I got to be a little bit cautious. I'm scratching and scoring. Because my clay is so plastic, I definitely do not need to add slip or water as glue. So I'm going to, again, line up those slanted pieces where I just scratched and scored, start pressing them together and getting a good connection that feels strong. All right, if I'm looking on the side here, and once they're all lined up, I'm going to take the time to smooth that seam where they connected so that it kind of disappears. I'm going to do it on the outside and the inside. On the inside, I like to use my wood modeling tool because I can't really get in there with my fingers all the way. Once I've got it connected, I can work on kind of shaping it into a little bit of a prettier circle. All right. My slab's looking a little thick for my demo. Not my best work, but it'll do. So I'm blended on both sides. Now we're going to talk about, again, I'm moving quick, so if you need it to pause, do so. Click pause on the video. I'm going to make the shoulders now. So the shoulders, again, we've got the base where it's a cylinder, right? We've got the body, but we need to close up the top a little bit so that we get this shoulder shape. The first thing that we're going to do is I have what's lined up in front of me where this modeling tool is the seam where my slabs connected together. I want to make sure that that doesn't end up in a part that's getting folded. So line that up right in front of you. And then I'm going to take my fingers. I've kind of got my hands in this like claw shape. I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to pinch the two widest parts, right? So this was a circle. The two widest parts, I'm going to kind of pinch that closed and start to close the top. I am not going to close the middle. So notice my hands are kind of staying towards the outer edges. I'm leaving this part open. This is where the neck and our head is going to get attached. So we leave that open, but I'm connecting these two sides, and these are going to become the shoulders. Before I close them up, I need to scratch and score them. So I'm going to scratch and score the inside. And scratch and score in here. Scratched and scored both of the insides. Now I can press it together, and I'm really going to blend and kind of smush those shoulders together, like really sandwich them. Make sure that it's solid. Again, I'm keeping this middle part open intentionally because that's where the head and the neck are going to get attached, right? So I'm intentionally keeping this part open, but the shoulders are getting closed together. Once you've done that, again, this might take a little bit more time than it is on my video. If you look at it from the side, it kind of looks like wings, right? It's going a little wider, and they're pinched closed and they're really narrow. This is exactly how it should look right now, but it doesn't really look like realistic shoulders, right? So what we're going to do, if we're looking at our sample, just to compare the two shoulder shapes, right? Look at how rounded these ones are versus these ones are really pointy. we're gonna bend these ones to look more realistic, like what we see on this guy. So this part is a little tricky. What you're gonna do, you're gonna take your finger and you're gonna put it inside the neck, and my finger is inside here, lifting up and applying pressure upwards. It's kind of like a brace or a support. So it's pushing up, and while my finger inside is pushing up, I'm going to use my hand on the outside to push down and form the more rounded shoulder shape. It's like I'm forcing that wing down into looking like a shoulder. Again, it's really important that my finger on the inside is actually pushing up so that the whole thing doesn't collapse on me. Look at the difference between these two shapes now. Pointed wing looks weird. On the right-hand side, we've got this round, realistic looking shoulder. Here's from the side. I'll do the left side super quick. I'm gonna stick my finger in here. Again, my finger inside is pressing up, while on the outside, I'm forcing that wing down and reforming it around my finger so that it looks like a realistic round shoulder. If you feel like there's parts of your clay that are getting a little thin, remember, you can always scratch and score and add a little more clay to like reinforce it. My clay is very soft right now. I'll be able to kind of refine it and make some better details once it gets more to the leather stage, right? That's when we can do more of the detail work. But right now, if we're looking at the body, looks pretty good. I got 2 round shoulders. I can still work on reshaping them. That's a great place to start. First thing, now, quickly, we're gonna make the form for the head. So I'm gonna take a piece of clay, put the body to its side. I'm gonna take a piece of clay and I wanna roll it into an egg shape. Not a ball, because our head isn't a perfect circle, but more of an egg shape. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I've kind of made this egg shape. So it's not a perfect ball, it's more of an oval. While I was making it, I was kind of checking to make sure that it didn't look super awkward on my body, right? That it was the right size. So once you've got the shape of the head made, the only thing we're gonna do today is we're gonna add some eye sockets. So it's kind of similar to when we made the skull rattles. We're gonna take our thumbs, I'm kind of holding the head this way, and right at the halfway point of our egg, believe it or not, our eyes are in the middle of our head. At the halfway point, I'm gonna kind of roll my thumbs into the clay and make 2 dents for where the eyeballs are gonna go. We're gonna make the eyeballs next class. Don't worry, we won't do it now. But this is just kind of getting it ready while our clay is soft and giving us the indents. Just by making these little indents, it already helps us by starting the bridge of the nose, right? That goes in between the eyes. Gives us a little bit of a jump start. So this is actually where we're gonna stop today. So you're gonna have the head with the 2 little eye indents, and then you've got the body with the closed, rounded shoulders and the open neck. Let me just kind of explain further. This head would explode, right? This is a lot of solid clay. So once this gets to leather hard, we're going to take a loop tool like this, and we're gonna scoop out the inside so that it's hollow. Once it dries more, it is way too soft to do that now. So the end of today, head and the body with the closed shoulders and the neck, and you're good.